Hey, what's up everyone? Danny Lightning back with another CSR2 video. So there's 2 or 3 huge mistakes I see a lot of new players making. Number 1 is they win these boss cars. Now this one is just a bonus tip, but these boss cars, even the very best boss cars that you win from the storyline races or Tempest, are not very good. They're just so at best, or they're even possibly terrible. Some of the boss cars are absolutely terrible. So number 1, do not upgrade the boss cars unless you really need to. Number 2, they go into the rare imports, they spend all of their keys, they're opening all these crates and getting these terrible cars. We're going to get into these subjects a lot deeper during this video, but most of the cars you get out of the crates are going to be terrible unless you're getting one of the featured cars. But guys, I can't emphasize enough, saving your resources, saving your keys, it's a very important aspect of this game unless you always want to be broke and struggling. Stop opening crates unless you need to. And number 3, they're trying to spend their game cash to upgrade every one of these terrible cars they get. You don't want to be upgrading everything, guys and gals. You gotta manage your resources. You gotta manage your keys. Only upgrade cars that are actually worth upgrading. Just because you get something does not mean you should or you need to upgrade it. There's currently about 1,200 cars in this game, and only a handful of those, a small percentage of those, are actually good and worth upgrading. The other, I don't know, 800 or 900 cars are just either so-so or pretty bad. I mean, I don't know exact numbers of what percentage are good and what percentage are bad, but there's a lot of really awesome cars in this game. There's a lot of them that are pretty decent to good, and then there's a whole bunch of them that are absolutely terrible. So you want to make sure you're actually upgrading things that are worthwhile. If you like this CSR2 content, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. And if you drop down the video's description or the pinned comment, you'll see a bunch of ways to help support the channel so it can keep bringing you videos just like this. Now, when you come into rare imports and you start spending your keys on these crates, generally whatever pops out is going to be a very lousy car. For example, when you're opening the bronze crates, you're just going to get a whole bunch of parts. So I don't really care what you do with your bronze keys. It's not really a big deal. You can spend them now or you can save them up to max out a car when you want to max one out. It's not a huge deal what you do with your bronze keys, but I still suggest saving the bronze keys. Now, when you're opening the silver crates, most of the time you're going to get a 1-star or a 3-star piece of junk. Occasionally a 4-star or a 5-star pops out, and those are usually the junky 4 or 5-star cars. I don't open these crates unless there's a featured car in there that I want, and I make sure I have enough keys to get that featured car before I go in there and pull it. My advice is on the silver keys, do not spend your silver keys. I mean, as a new player, you might want to just to get a whole bunch of cars lined up, but there's going to be a point that comes where you want to stop spending those silver keys and save them. Get 2, 3, 4, 5,000 saved up. I mean, I know it takes a few months to do that, and it takes a lot of determination and willpower to stop spending your keys and save them, but that's one of the best things I've ever done in my life is save my silver keys. I used to struggle to get the milestone prize car every season from the crates. Then I started saving my keys for I think I saved my keys for 2 or 3 months straight. I saved up something like 3,000 or 4,000 keys, and that was one of the best things I've ever done in this game. If you want to learn a lot more about CSR2 racing, if you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll down or you click the playlist tab, either way it works, you will find all my playlists that cover almost everything in the game. So let's get back to the video. I very rarely pull keys out of gold crates because the gold keys are so rare. I probably get like 10 or maybe 20 gold keys per month, and that's it. It takes 70 to guarantee that you get the featured car out of the gold crates. So I'm not going to open one of those unless there's a really amazing car in the gold crates that I really want. And then I'll go in there and make sure I've got at least 70 keys, because most of the time it takes all 7 tries to get the featured car. It's rare that it pops up on the first time or the third time. I mean, sometimes it does, but most of the time it does take all 7 tries for most people. So the problem is when you're in here spending all your keys on cars that are terrible and you're putting all your resources into those terrible cars, that you're going to learn, oh, this car, I just outgrew it, I don't need it anymore, or this car is really terrible and I just spent all these resources and all these keys to get it, and you're wasting your resources. You got to manage your resources very wisely in this game, or you're always going to be broke and you're never going to have the things you need. Now, back to the boss cars. I mean, honestly, Tempest isn't even that important anymore. You beat the bosses, you get some junky boss cars. I would much rather focus on something like Elite Tuners. I mean, Elite Tuners cars, some of those are really, really, really good. I'd rather be spending my resources on that than working on getting these terrible boss cars. Like I said, I mean, all the boss cars are pretty bad these days. We have the Sesto Elemento, which is the best boss car in the game for Tier 5. And it does have a nice live racing setup, but besides the occasional live racing session I do with this car, it's not that good anymore. It's just not that good anymore. When I first started that game, or started this game, that was one of the better cars in the game. It was like the second fastest or third fastest car when I started. Now it's like way down the list at like, I think it's like 192 or something. It's some, let me look it up really. Let me look it up. Let me check. So on the world record sheet that shows the cars from fastest to slowest, this car is now at rank 301. That is crazy. That is crazy. And it looks like there's a total of 698 tier 5 cars in the game, and this is at 301. So it's like in the middle now. It used to be the second or third fastest when I started the game, but that was like 7 years ago. So a lot changes in this game over the years. Now, when you get to the Elite Tuners events, you're going to get this Toyota Supra right here for free. And this car is 100% amazing. It's fast. It can beat the dyno time. It's got great top speed. It's got great acceleration. It's very tunable. It can be set up for live racing. I mean, it's not one of the best cars in the game, but this car is actually really good at everything, to where the Sesto Elemento is only good at live racing at the moment, and it's only so-so at live racing on top of that, to where this car is just a beast. Even though it's not the fastest car in the game, it doesn't have the best stats and the best times, it's tunable to where you can tune it to do what you need it to do. If you need good top speed, it's got it. If you need good acceleration, it's got it. You want to win live races, you can set it up to do that. That's just a really nice, well-rounded, good car, and you will get this for free. There's a bunch of Elite Tuners cars that are actually really nice. I mean, they may not be the absolute best cars in the game, but they are some of the best cars in the game at the moment. So upgrading these is excellent. So honestly, I don't think I would even worry about doing the storyline races or the Tempest races. You don't need the Shaxx car. It's awful. You beat the first set of storyline races, you get the Shaxx car. It is a terrible, 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 terrible car, to where this Toyota Supra is amazing. This is what you want to focus putting your resources on and your time in, is Elite Tuners. Even Legends has some pretty nice cars. I hated every second of Legends, but, you know, some of the Legends cars are pretty good. Some of the Elite Tuners cars are pretty good, but the boss cars, there's a couple that are decent to nice. Mainly the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 boss cars. Really, there's some really cool Tier 1 boss cars, but I never drive Tier 1 anymore. I mean, Tier 1 is cool, Tier 2 is okay. Tier 3 pretty much sucks. Nobody likes Tier 3. Nobody drives Tier 3 cars. They're pretty much all crap. They did add a couple of nicer Tier 3 cars recently, but still, nobody uses them. Nobody drives them. The only time you're going to be driving Tier 3 cars, or even Tier 2 cars, is when you need them to beat some sort of event, and that's all that's really available for that event. Eventually, you're going to realize when it comes to everything else, the Tier 4 cars and the Tier 5 cars are the only ones you're going to be using. I mean, as a new player, if you do want to go through the storylines and beat the Tempest bosses and everything else, you're going to need a couple of good Tier 1 cars, a couple of good Tier 2, a couple of good Tier 3, Tier 4, and Tier 5 cars. But after you beat that storyline, you're going to be like, what do I want to do with a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 or a Tier 3 car? And the answer is pretty much nothing. So only upgrade cars that you actually need to upgrade. Save your resources for the cars that are actually worthwhile. If you just go in there and you spend, open your keys, upgrade every single car that you try and get, you're never going to have any keys, you're never going to have any game cash, and you're going to be upgrading a bunch of worthless trash that nobody ever wants to drive in their life, because you don't know any better as a new player. As a new player, you don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad, so try and find out. Ask a YouTuber, hey, is this car any good? I mean, I go through my comments every day. I mean, I might spend 3-4 hours a day, answering comments between my 3 YouTube channels. I'm sure I do miss some. I try to get as many as I possibly can per day, but all you got to say is like, hey, is this car worth upgrading on a comment? And if I see that comment, I'm going to ask, Max the Gamer is a good one to ask. He's another YouTuber that puts out excellent videos. I'm not sure how much time he has to actually answer his comments, but he's a very, very busy. I know he works crazy amounts of hours, so I'm not sure how much time he has to answer comments, but I know he does try. So you can always ask Max the Gamer. You can ask me. One of us is probably going to answer unless you're unlucky. I mean, like I said, there's going to be times where YouTube may delete your comment, or maybe I just miss it somehow, but I try to go through every day and answer as many comments as possible. I mean, there is their occasional day where I get busy, I got stuff going on, and maybe I don't have much time to answer comments that day. But if you don't get a reply from me in 3 or 4 days, that means I've missed it. Ask again. More than likely, I'll find it the second time. This game has a lot going on, and managing your resources and everything else properly is a huge deal. You want to make sure you manage everything correctly. You got to manage your keys, you got to manage your game cash, even your gold. Like, I don't spend my gold unless I have to. Now, on my live streams, I use my gold to refill my gas tank, but I wouldn't do that. If I were just normally playing, I would save my gold up, because occasionally you're going to get some sort of really amazing car that's for sale for gold, and you're going to be like, wow, I need to buy that car right there. And then if you're always spending your gold on a bunch of junk, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do it. For example, the Gamera, which is one of the best cars in the game, a few months back, they were offering that for like 4,000 gold or 3,000 gold or something. And if you didn't have that car and you had the gold, that was something you just had to go in there and absolutely had to buy. But if you didn't have any gold, then you're out of luck, because you don't want to spend it on just random stuff. Save your gold for really amazing cars when they're offering them. It's not that often that they're offering really good cars for gold, but they do it occasionally. I just said do. Please don't make fun of me. But every once in a while, there is an amazing top-notch car available for gold, or there might be times where there's just something available for gold and you need it to finish an event. So save your gold, save your keys, right? Save your game cash. Only spend them when you absolutely need to, or things that are worth spending them on. Now, if you notice, I got like 105 million game cash up there. I just had almost 140, but there was a couple of events and a couple of cars I upgraded recently. I went through 40 million game cash in like 3 weeks. It was just gone because I started upgrading cars. That's why normally I only try and upgrade 1 car per season, occasionally 2. That way, when something pops up where there are several cars that I need to upgrade in a short period of time, I can do it. But I'm not going to do that very often, or I'm going to be out of game cash, because it takes about 7 million game cash to upgrade a tier 5 car, plus fit all the fusion parts and everything else. So you got to really be super stingy with your game cash. It's very important to be really stingy with your game cash. You do not want to spend that game cash unless it's really important and something that's really going to benefit you, or if you need to do an event, if you need to finish an event, then you might want to upgrade some cars to do that event. Or let's just say you get a car that's just excellent. Like if you get a Gamera, you want to make sure you upgrade that. But when you get to the Elite Tuners events, I highly suggest doing those, and you're going to need to upgrade or buy or get a whole bunch of Elite Tuners cars. That's a whole different story, but save your resources for when you actually need them. Don't upgrade things just to upgrade things. Don't pull cars out of crates just because you feel like it. Wait till there's really good featured cars in there, and then you want to make sure you got plenty of keys saved up, right? You don't want to run out of keys, because it sucks having no keys. It sucks having no game cash. So you got to manage your resources very, very properly, or things don't go well. It sucks when you're broke. It completely sucks when you're broke and you have no resources. I mean, I've been playing this game for 7 years, and probably the first year I played this game, I had no resources. Like, I was always broke, at least for the first 6 or 7 months. Eventually, I realized, all right, I got to start saving my keys up. I got to start saving my game cash up, because I'm tired of struggling to upgrade cars when I need to. And those were some of the best things I've ever done, like as a new player, I wish I would have realized, hey, manage your resources. Don't upgrade everything you get. Don't spend your keys as soon as you get them. Save, 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 and then you'll have it when you really need it. And that's the mindset you want to have on this game. Like Melon, my buddy Melon always says, this is not a sprint. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take it nice and slow. Don't try and get from point A to point B as fast as you possibly can. Go nice and slow. Take your time. Don't worry about getting stuff finished right now. Just do it slowly at your own pace, and you will enjoy the game much more if you're not in this big rush. You got to have some patience for this game. If you're not patient and you don't manage your resources well, you're going to struggle from the day you start till the day you stop not managing your resources. You know what I mean? I don't think that came out right, but you know what I mean? Oh, man. All right. But I think I've been rambling on and babbling on long enough that you probably get the idea. Manage your resources. Don't spend it unless it's actually going to be really beneficial to you. Only upgrade cars if you need to finish an event or if it's really, 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 really good. If you get a car that's just like the top-notch live racer, let's just say you get a car. Let me retake that. I messed up. If you get a car that's like a 100% top-notch live racing machine, by all means, upgrade that car. If you need that car to finish an event, upgrade that car. But if you don't really need that car, let it set and collect dust and look pretty until you do need it, because there's a pretty good chance that car sucks anyway. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you drop down the video's description or the pinned comment, you'll see my merch store, my affiliate links to help support this channel, ways to donate, ways to do this, ways to do that. If you want to help the channel out so it can keep bringing you videos just like this, your support really does help. Huge shout out to my channel members. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the extra support. And if you want to become one, just click the little join button right below the video. Thanks for watching. You guys are amazing. Lighten it up. Catch you later. See ya.